This is one of the most interesting album covers I've ever seen, and by the end of this video, I'll be showing you my favorite album cover, as well as some album covers that I think are just fucking terrible. This album cover was made for the album For Haiti by Mac Homie, and the artwork was taken from a 1980s artist called Basquiat. This is what the original artwork actually looked like. As you can see, there has been a slight change in the artwork. The artwork's been flipped to one side, and also there's been some small color changes. I feel like it gives a very underground and like unique style to it. Like, it looks very abstract, and I think that does reflect pretty well in Mac Homie's music. Basquiat has a lot of really interesting artwork, and this isn't the first time someone's taken some of his artwork and used it as an album cover. This artwork was taken by the underground rapper Grafh and used as an album cover as well, and I think it just gives off a similar vibe to the one before. It really does portray an underground hip-hop album. I don't know if I sound like a fucking weirdo here. It seems like you're discovering something quite unknown when you're looking at these two album covers. Like, they look like some kind of old ancient painting or something which no one's ever seen before, and I really like that because it reflects the album style and just generally how popular this music is very well. I also really recommend you guys listen to this Mac Homie album because it sounds really good. Now, this is one of the most interesting album covers I've ever seen. Honestly, if you look at it, all it really seems to be is just an interesting bumpy texture, and I'm not even really sure what the fucking objects in the album cover even are. It's just a bunch of strange plastic looking objects making up a texture. You'll notice, since the album is named The Elephant Man's Bones by Rock Marciano, in the 1800s there was this guy named Joseph Merrick, and people called him the Elephant Man because he had like deformities in his face and kind of all over his body, mainly in his face and in his legs. He went into like freak shows, people would laugh at him. Eventually he died because his skull, I think he got like too large or something, his neck got dislocated. People took a look at his bones and they looked like this on his skull. So what I think is that this album cover is relating to the texture of this guy's bones on his skull. Since the 1800s, people have still been trying to figure out what kind of disorder he has. I know there was a study in 2003 and they still haven't figured it out. And I think the main reason why I listened to this album in the first place is just because of the art. Like, the abstract art looks so fucking interesting and weird that it just made me want to listen to it. Yeezus, people might not like that I put this on my list of cool album covers, but I think it's fucking cool. Okay, the one thing which I really like is when album covers array the actual music you're listening to. I think that's really fucking cool, because when they do that, you can just scroll, look at some interesting album cover, and then immediately assume that the music's going to be interesting as well. And with Yeezus, the thing about this album cover is that it completely stands out from every single cover on the planet. If you can even call it a cover, it basically has no cover apart from a red sticker. If you were to see some album in a charity shop or something with no cover inside of it, you'd assume it must be some very strange underground music which you've never heard before or no one has ever listened to, and that's great because that is basically what Yeezus is. It's some music that no one's ever heard before. It's a completely new sound. I think it fits super well. Okay, this next one, like I said before, I really like it when album covers array the music. This one takes that to an even more extreme level. For one, it's just a really fucking interesting looking, like, rotting away mansion looking thing, which I think looks sick. The Billy Woods album, by the way, I think he got it off like, I don't know if he got it off like Google Images or something. Like, I've seen some images before of like the house is an actual place in real life. If you listen to the actual music itself, it sounds just like the cover. It sounds like some music that's just like kind of forgotten and rotting away, you know? Just the production and the style of the music just sounds very, very sad. In like its own unique and like rotting way, if you know what I mean. I can't explain it too well, so I really just do suggest you listen to a bit of the album to understand what I'm talking about. I actually have already made a video on Billy Woods, so if you're interested in that, I really recommend checking it out. And honestly, with all of the album covers up here, Billy Woods does this with basically every single one of his albums. He tries to make an album cover that looks like what the music would sound like, you know? He really does try and do that, and I think it's very interesting. I think this is a cool fucking album cover. A lot of people will not agree with me because it's literally just a fucking penis. You can call me gay, you can call me whatever the fuck you want. I think it's fucking cool. It's a fucking raw dick, and Death Grips is written on it with a marker. The main reason why I think this is a cool album cover, the intent behind it is very interesting in my opinion. What happened was Death Grips was basically kind of forced by their record label to stool this album. Instead of doing that, they decided to leak the album. with a penis as the album cover, it's basically just saying fuck you to the record label, because not only have they leaked the album, which would already kick them off, they've also put a fucking dick on it, which would ruin the record label's reputation. I think it's a cool backstory, and it's a decent sounding album as well, and honestly, I mean, the album does sound like a penis, I can't lie, it sounds fucking crazy. Next, one of the best gangster rap albums of all time, and probably one of the best gangster rap album covers of all time, Get Rich or Die Tryin. It's not like there's some abstract thing going on, I just think the imagery is fucking cool. Like, it's iconic. Especially since 50 Cent was in a lot of beef in that situation with Ja Rule, you know, he'd been shot 9 times. I think it does really array that he's a tough guy who shouldn't be fucked with. Get Rich or Die Tryin is a fucking cool album cover. One of my favorites, honestly. Now, this thing is actually not related to the album cover itself, but it's related to the package that the album cover comes in. This is something which I don't think anyone's ever done in a hip-hop album before. But basically, if you buy the CD for the Food album by MF Doom, it will come in like a tinfoil bag looking thing. And that basically is supposed to represent like a sandwich bag, which is related to, you know, the whole theme of the album being food. As far as I know, I don't really know any albums that do something like that. Now, we've gotten to the part where we're talking about my favorite album cover ever. It's a Kanye West one, so brace yourself, it's Kids See Ghosts. I don't really know a lot about the backstory of where this thing came from, but it looks fucking amazing. Like, it looks like something that I could just hang up on my wall. It looks like a genuine painting I would buy. Like, I would buy this painting even if I didn't know music was related to it. It looks fucking sick. Again, the kind of abstract feel to it and mysterious imagery like ghosts and stuff is quite creative in my opinion, especially since Kanye West at the time, I think he was going through a lot of bipolar, manic phases and stuff. Now, the album cover I think was inspired by this artwork. I don't necessarily know where this artwork comes from, but maybe some people will think I'm a massive cunt for this, but I really do prefer Kanye's one, to be honest. But anyways, let's talk about bad album covers now. Okay, people might hate me for this, but the majority of Guccimane's album covers are so shit. They just look very messy and have like this very mainstream kind of like, it looks like the type of text you see in like them fucking gambling games and stuff, man. And they either have like cartoons or like just images of Guccimane putting up some gang sign or something. And in my opinion, they look like fucking shit, to be honest. Like, none of them are interesting. Fucking DJ Drama looks like Andrew Tate. What the hell is going on? The Good Times by Afroman is a shit album cover. I am very sorry. I like Afroman's music, but this is fucking shit. It looks so bad. I mean, the background color looks kind of cool, but everything else, even the image, just looks awful. This is probably the worst album cover that you could fucking have.